Hey guys, got this restore done on this Radiola, which is the RCA, and she's sounding good. Got all the rust off the chassis, and you can hear her playing here.
The way we danced all night.
Real pleased with the outcome. And I got the RF alignment done. I'll spend some more time on that in just a minute and tell you guys how I went about that without having the dial indicator on here, which still needs to be done. I've actually just painting that back plate at this point, just waiting for that to dry. So let's take a look underneath the chassis here. I'll show you guys what I did, then we'll take a look at the top of the chassis after doing the rust removal. So here's the underneath side of the chassis. It was just a complete recap, less this one mica, which appears to be good. All the resistors were really within about plus 20 to maybe 25%. I'll let them be. One resistor here, which is a 1 water, that would be what, a 1200 ohm, I believe. I ended up replacing that here with this 5 watt resistor, and the reason why, if you do the voltage drop across here, which I believe was around 33 volts or so, if you square that voltage, that would be multiply it by itself and divide it by the resistor value. The current, or the wattage itself, was about 0.9 watts. So I noticed when I was playing the radio for well over an hour, this thing started kind of beating up, like it was sweating, just stressed a little bit. So it's kind of odd they would design it that way, kind of take it right to the max, but went on and put a little 5 watt sand resistor in there. You can see also I put a fuse in, just use some quick dry epoxy, and got that in as a safety net since this radio will not be in my shop. So provides a little extra protection. Again, I went with a fast blow fuse. It looks like my inrush current, I checked it probably a half a dozen times, cold and hot, right at a half an amp. So that's the size fuse that I have in there, is a fast blow 1/2 amp fuse. The radio draws at about 122 to 123 volts. It's about 0.25 amps of current. But anyway, pretty straightforward. This thing really cleaned up well. A little rust here or something on the side. Can't really tell. I actually used some navel jelly on it and still kind of beat it up. So I put some of my Picklix 20 over the top of it. So if it is rust, it'll keep that from spreading down the road. So let me flip it back over here and we'll take a look at the top side here in more detail. So you guys recall how nasty the chassis was, just full of rust, especially in this area. And there's definitely some pitting here on the chassis, but I'm not going to worry about it. Again, the radio is really not that valuable, but it has a lot of sentimental value to the family that I'll be presenting it back to. But I did use some Picklix 20 over the top of it to act as a rust inhibitor. Took the tuning condenser completely out and let it soak overnight in evaporust, and then did some additional work on it. Ran it through the ultrasonic cleaner for about 5 or 6 cycles. The speaker, not sure if this is showing up well or not. This whole magnet here was all rusted up, and I've got Picklix 20 over it as well. And then I know it's not showing up here. I had a lot of dust and crud on the speaker itself, and I removed that. Checked all the tubes. All the tubes were good. Yeah, I don't remember replacing one. And then I had to dress up the antenna lead here. And I did an RF alignment. And this thing was way out of alignment. So not sure what's up with that, if somebody been maybe tinkering around with the radio. Both IFs were way off, and the oscillator and antenna adjustment was way out as well. When I first turned it on, all I had was hum. I couldn't even pick up anything. The RF alignment was so far off. But plays good with this built-in loop. Plays better with a long wire antenna. So thus the reason here for the blue lead. So up next, we'll take a look at that cabinet. That's going to be fun. And for those that have watched the video, I appreciate all the different ideas and feedback. I'll go through those, read them all, and consider what approach I want to take. Trying to get that glued back together, or use some epoxy or some other means. But let's listen to this thing play one more time, and then I'll let this thing continue to bake on the bench while I'm out here working on the cabinet. Make sure we're in good shape before we present this thing back to the owner. It's actually got a good sound quality, you know, especially with the vintage, and maybe some damage at some point in time to the speaker itself. But very pleased.
Live from the Valentine Center for Dentistry Studio.
Again, just recall I don't have the tuning mechanism mounted yet. That back plane is actually painted. We'll let that dry for a couple days, and I'll get all that hardware remounted, get the pilot lamp back where it needs to be. I've just got it sitting over here off to the side.
Expense accounts. Of historic.
Christ holds out.
The Reds over the Phillies 1-0 in the second. Tigers and Orioles.
By the way, I did the RF alignment, not having the dial on. Folks might ask how I accomplished that. I still may have to do some tweaking, but the low end of the receiver itself is spec'd at 540 kilocycles, and the top end is 1600 kilocycles. So I just use my RF generator, and again with the capacitor all the way together, full mesh, again 540 kilocycles, and wide open 1600. So just kept going back and forth there with the antenna trimmer, the oscillator, etc. to I got that kind of spot on. Now again, we'll see how that tracks on the dial, but those things, I've always found these old radios are not that accurate anyway. So yeah, she's playing good.
Industry to attract.
Thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it. That's all on the electrical side. We'll start putting that Bakelite cabinet back together and see what happens. Again, thanks for watching. Thanks for all your recommendations and suggestions on how to move forward.